Divorce, the Psychology and Work of It. Track 1, Introduction. The adversary legal system has frequently been criticized by the mental health profession as poorly designed to meet the psychological needs of families. This article explores why that criticism is true. Successful adjustment to divorce by couples and their children requires the completion of critical psychological and practical tasks early in the divorce. In particular, the non-initiating spouse must come to terms with the fact of divorce and control the intense emotions that accompany the decision to divorce. The norms and values of the legal system and the perceptions and behaviors of the lawyers interfere with completion of the psychological tasks and retard adaptation. Mediation is viewed as an appropriate model for supporting the completion of successful divorce. Divorce is simultaneously a legal process and a psychological one. Although much has been written about each of the two, how the two processes interact is not well understood. Lawyers commonly argue that the legal system is only neutral ground on which the divorcing parties fight their battle. Moreover, the intensity of the fight and the impact the fight has on the divorcing family are seen as the product of the pathology of the parties unrelated to the nature of the legal system. In other words, the legal system is regarded as benign. It is seen as having little influence on the parties' behavior and therefore is not liable when we assess the damage done to families by protracted divorce-related struggle. In this article, we will show how the adversary legal system is by no means a neutral field. To the contrary, we will argue that the nature of the adversary system is the primary source of the pathology that flows from divorce. We will show how the norms and rules of the adversary system shape and augment conflict by interfering with the adaptive behavior necessary to successfully deal with the challenges divorce poses to both individual and family systems. Track 2, Chapter 1, Divorce and Individual Psychology. For most people, divorce is one of life's most stressful experiences. For healthy personalities, divorce is a severe challenge, and for personalities with significant pathology, the stress of divorce can cause an emotional crisis. But not all people are equally stressed by divorce. To better understand the emotional crisis of divorce, it is useful to consider the distinction between the initiator and the non-initiator of the divorce, for it is the difference in the two roles that shapes the way the couple manages or fails to manage the divorce. The decision to divorce is rarely mutual. That is, it is infrequent that both spouses awake the same morning and conclude that the marriage is over. More commonly, one spouse, after lengthy rumination and often after a long period of marital discord, concludes that he or she can no longer tolerate the painful marriage and should seek a divorce. The initiator has a psychological advantage over the non-initiator. Although the initiator may experience bouts of acute ambivalence and guilt, he or she has usually had the opportunity to mourn the relationship, develop alternatives, or at least the image of alternatives, and generally try on the role of the divorced person. It is not uncommon to find that the initiators, long before telling their spouses that they want to divorce, have begun to develop separate social lives, have begun revamping careers, and in some cases have found another person who provides intimacy and emotional support. For most initiators, divorce represents a substantial improvement in their lives. This fact has an important bearing on the ability to adapt to the challenges of divorce because it provides important motivation to make the myriad of adjustments divorce requires. The non-initiator is in an inferior psychological position. Some non-initiators
Sample complete. Ready to continue?